Well, thank you, Alam. Another very powerfully presented position. As I said before, we were going to go straight through the speakers. So from a very young Alam via an elderly white male to our third speaker, Hassan Radwan. I can, but I'm not sure about them. How about for now?
Okay. 1, 2, can you hear me? Okay, as you can see, I'm not used to public speaking. In fact, this is the first time I have spoken publicly since leaving Islam. I left Islam in 2007. In fact, it was after seeing Mariam on television launching the Council of Ex-Muslims, and I thought, what? Ex-Muslims? There's no such thing as ex-Muslims. And I'd been having doubts for a long time, and it kind of just made me feel the courage to say, yeah, actually, I don't believe this. And I think that's very important. I have a lot of empathy for Muslims because I was very religious. I was religious. My father's from Egypt. My mother's English, but she had to take Shahada to marry my father. And although he wasn't very religious, he was a Muslim, and we were brought up as Muslims, and we believed from very little. You know, when you're very young, you don't have the critical abilities to really think for yourself or make the choices for yourself, and so you just take it as natural that all the things that you're fed. And so I have a lot of empathy for Muslims because they are the main victims of Islam. They are not responsible for Islam. They are the victims of it. And it was quite a long struggle to kind of eventually reject Islam. And it wasn't just an intellectual struggle. I think intellectually I'd left Islam many years before I actually came out publicly and said I didn't believe in it. It was because of my family, my community, my wife, my children, and so on. And I think that we need to kind of address that problem. I think that the Council of Ex-Muslims is absolutely wonderful. And just standing up and saying, we are ex-Muslims, we don't believe in Islam, that in itself is an enormous, powerful message to send to others. But I think we need to start thinking about how to give people a safe place to land. There are billions of ex-Muslims out there, but most of them don't know it. They have been fed the nice bits of Islam, the sweet bits, the things that sound okay, the selective bits, and they also try to impose their humanity on it. That's what I did. That's what all my friends, and I've still got many Muslim friends and family, and they're nice, good people. Of course they are. Human beings are all the same, and they impose their humanity on their faith, and they see things through a prism and a perspective, the way they want to. And I feel a lot of empathy for those people, and I think we need to start thinking about reaching out to them. As I say, it's not just about rejecting myths and fairy tales. Human beings are not purely rational creatures. We are emotional creatures, and when it's about upsetting your parents. I'm quite active on the Ex-Muslim Forum, the Council of Ex-Muslim Forum, and I'm so used to hearing new ex-Muslims come and give their introductions, and it's always the same old story. I can't tell anyone. I'm afraid to upset mum and dad. I'm afraid what my friends and my family will say. They have to keep it quiet. The majority of ex-Muslims have to keep it quiet. And then there are many more ex-Muslims out there who can't even admit to themselves that they are not really Muslims. They try to reshape Islam for their own comfort. It means breaking up relationships, destroying family, losing your identity, which is a big thing, and losing your community and the support. Your whole comfort zone is just lost. And lingering fears. I mean, hell is, anyone who has been brought up with the Quran knows how hell is drummed into you, and the fear of hell. You can't turn a page of the Quran without finding a verse about hell. And I was speaking, one of the ex-Muslims on the forum actually said, I don't believe in Islam anymore, but I'm still scared that Allah is going to punish me in hell. And but this is, it seems irrational, but this is a fear that lingers. It's a bit like having your limb cut off and wanting to scratch it still. That psychological fear is so ingrained and deep. So how do we reach these people? I don't know, I'm just raising the question really. I think we need to find a safe place for them to land, find an alternative community, give them courage. As Alona says, actually, we do have a lot in common with the gay community. You know, ex-Muslims feel shame, they feel denial, anger, and blame. I know before I left Islam, I went through a denial, anger, and blame stage. I denied that there was anything. All the issues that I had with Islam, I kept saying, it's my fault, it's my misunderstanding, my misperception. There's nothing wrong with Islam. Islam is perfect. And then I went through an anger stage where I was angry with, it's all the West's fault. They're causing all the problems. And then blaming everyone I could. Until eventually I came to realize, no, there are issues. And it takes a long time to actually look at that in a rational way. As I say, human beings are very emotional creatures. And if it means losing all your friends, family, and good people, decent people, then it's very, very hard to do. And I think that we need to give them courage. And speaking out is an enormously powerful thing to do. And I think we also perhaps need to think about forming some sort of real-life kind of, community, because we meet a lot on the internet, and I think we've got about 3,000 members on the internet. But they're all afraid to come out. They're all afraid to come out into the real life. And actually say to their family, I don't believe this, or, they're all isolated. So I think we need to start perhaps organizing some sort of real-life help for them. And that's it.